Good morning, everybody. It's so good to have you here joining me for this morning's Success Life. My name is Eric Reed, and I'm glad you took time out of your morning to jump in and join me. We're going to be talking a little bit about parenting. This should be like, what is it called? A triple threat. We've got parenting, biblical or faith-based learning, and personal experience. So I think we're going to cover all the bases into making this an amazing success life. So take a moment, jump in the room, say hello, settle in, do the things we do each and every time we get together. I'm going to get some coffee. I haven't had a sip this morning. I was reading. I'm trying to decide if that's rude or polite. It's sort of, I assume that as we're getting together, everybody else is taking shower. Oh, I hope not. No, having coffee, driving to work, enjoying the start of their morning. And so thought I would just sort of start mine as well. Good morning, Elizabeth. Good to have you in the room. Hello, Andrea. I'm not sure if you're live today or watching in the replay. I got your comment last night. You have such a precious little princess. But thank you for being in the room with me this morning, whether you're watching live or in the replay. When you're watching in the replay, do me a favor and just say hashtag replay watching, or even leave a comment. It lets me know, who's here, what we're talking about, what we're growing about. And don't be cheap. Don't jump up there and just hit a like or share or a like or a smiley face button. Share it. Always share it. There's somebody that's looking for a message, and this may be it. And leave a comment. It's the interaction. It's the community. It's the conversations that I love. It's interesting because as someone who does speaking and coaching and training, good morning to me. We're doing parenting. You're going to love this one. Often, if I have the choice to do like a workshop versus a speaking, if somebody says, well, we can do it any way you want. If you'd like to just come in and present, I'm like, can we make it interactive? Can we make it like a workshop? Because I love that interaction. I love that connection. I love that being with people and sharing and exchanging ideas. And so when I come on Facebook and I see, number of viewers, but I see like lacking in comments, I'm like, I'm at a speaking gig. I'd rather be at a workshop. I'd rather be at a mastermind. So with all that said, make sure you take a moment, like, share, and do all the other things that let me know you jumped in the room, that you're here, and that you're enjoying the show. And if you're not enjoying the show, definitely leave me a comment so that I can improve it, because that's my job, is to bring you the very best in a format that helps you grow. So quick recap, successlifeu.com is the university, so to speak. So successlifeu.com, where the classes and the courses and the things and the ways that you can interact with me are there. So there's one-on-one classes, masterminds, groups and events, things like that. So do check it out. Secondly, I mentioned about the mastermind yesterday, the upcoming Success Life Mastermind group. And I sort of referenced this book, and somebody said, oh my gosh, I can't take the class. That's too much to learn. I can barely read my mail every day. And I was like, what? And they felt intimidated by the book. Well, first, let me just break it down. There's 365 days in the year. There's almost 365 pages. So basically it would require, if you were required to read the book, just a page a day. But you're not required to read the book. This is what I'm using to make sure I stay structured and format and deliver and give you the very, very best that I can give you. And so don't, maybe I should hide the book or, keep it away from you. But the reason I wanted you to know was because I've been part of masterminds in the past, or group experiences or online communities or whatever, where you take time out of your schedule, you sit down and you say, okay, lock the door, hide the kids, bury the dog, whatever, I'm in this class, and you show up and you spend 15 or 20 minutes just rambling and figuring out what we're going to talk about and if there's anything of value in the, and I just, time is so precious. And if I'm going to commit an hour of time and step into a room to learn and grow, I hope the host or the person inviting me, so to speak, has some kind of structure so that we can get started. And then from that growth, from that starting point, there is growth, there is spontaneity, there's interaction, there's collaboration. And so when I point out the book, I see how I kept it low so you didn't freak. I do that more so that you know that you're not just going to be wandering into a big, wide open space, to let you know that I got you. I got you on this. Just shh, relax and breathe. All right. So I want to jump into today's lesson about parenting and being the perfect parent. The struggle of parenting. The struggle of parenting. It is so funny for me personally, and you can see the laughter is already starting to take over, because part of what I did since the mid-1980s, when I was 4, since the mid-1980s was coach, counsel, coordinate parenting and children. I've worked in foster care. I've worked in adoption services. I've worked in the court systems. I've worked as a guardian ad litem. So I've always been around this thing that had a kid in the middle, and parents or non-parents or parents that need reparenting on the side. And my job was to help facilitate and train and guide and coach. And through that, I've been a foster parent and a group home manager. So to say that my credentials as a parent should be like really high up there on the scale set, when we came to signing the documents and adopting and becoming real parents, not foster parents, temporary parents, guardians, but parents, like the form that you fill out when it's school time, and they say parent signature. It was almost as if I had never done it before. It was almost as if my skill set was erased from me with each pen stroke. And so if you're thinking, oh, man, I can't do this parenting thing, I so mess it up, I'm not doing it right, and you're banging your head against the headboard every night, like me, I want to give you a biblical reference, okay? So when in doubt, I always look for the highest respected source, and then I'm like, okay, what are they doing? How did it turn out? Where do I compare, sort of thing? So this is Eric humor. You're just going to have to roll with it. So assuming God, divine, being is perfect in every way, and that he holds a perfect position, perfect knowledge, all of the perfection that is embodied in God. Remember his first 2 children, Adam and Eve. He only had 2. He only had 2 to take care of. Like, he had all of these animals, but 2 kids. And they were not perfect. They had every opportunity, every resource. They could do whatever they wanted and never have to worry. It wasn't like they had to choose between ballet and eyeglasses. It wasn't like they lacked food or attention or time or resources. It wasn't like they were competing with technology and God. It wasn't like the parent had to figure out when the school bus would show up so that they could have that important parenting conversation. And they weren't perfect children. So I use that a little bit in humor to recognize that my ability as a parent doesn't come from my perfectionism, my ability to do it all right, that no matter how much time, energy, effort, resources I create, there's still going to be learning. There's still going to be growth. There's still going to be mistakes. There's still going to be big ones, little ones, trials, errors, and I'm still going to be required to discipline. And that no matter how perfect I try and become, my kids still have free will. My kids still have the ability to make choices. My kids still have to become who they were designed to be. They have their purpose, their passion, their desire, and they need to figure that out. And in figuring it out, it may not be along the lines of my vision for their life, my design for their life, my belief what it should be. And so my job as a parent when I again use a biblical reference, is to provide a place for them to come to know love, to know grace, to know forgiveness, to gain wisdom at their will and their counsel. Now, one of the things that I've sort of become better at is, instead of like, well, when I was your age, this is how I did it, so I wouldn't do that. Or, if you do this, this is what's going to happen. This, my wisdom, my all abundant deity dad wisdom being projected down upon you. Of course, my kids are going to be like, well, I'm going to try it my way because I'm becoming me and I want to do my thing. And even if yours makes perfect, logical, intelligent sense, like if you seem to be the most rational being on the planet, Dad, I'm going to go contrary to you because I got to be me. And so what I've done is instead learn to ask the question, like, okay, so what if you do that? What do you think's going to happen? And then I offer sort of an alternative along the way. I sort of offer an opportunity for them to see it just slightly different than what maybe it was. And so part of my job as a parent was not to become perfect, not to become all wonderful and, super dad, but my job as a parent was really to be able to say, you know what? I don't need to be perfect. I don't need to be perfect because I got baby Jesus. He had a stepdad. He was adopted, so to speak. That dad kind of, I have to allow my kids to be flawed and to learn and to have free will and to experience and to express their purpose, their design mission, their intuitiveness, who they were created to be. My kids have to have that same ability and permission. And so part of my parenting, or my now perfect parenting, is to just pull back and create safe spaces for them to do that. Now, yeah, I've got guardrails and I've got protection, and I, in my wisdom, know that it's not safe for them to do certain things. But I almost set them up now to fail, or to get bumped and to get bruised and to get a few scrapes and scratches emotionally and physically, where I'm available for them, where I can control both the pain and then the healing. So many times I see parents try and build this perfect perimeter around their kid, that they don't let them talk about, a family friend dying, or they make up fairy tale stories about where the goldfish went and all that. I would rather have my child learn and experience loss and mourning and grief and all of those things that go with flushing the goldfish down the toilet, so to speak, where I can also talk about the joy and the memories and all of the things that my faith teaches me, then wait until they're 23 or 24 or 40 and have to experience it for the first time. My job as a parent is not to be perfect. My job as a parent is really to create sort of a perimeter that's ever expanding for them to begin to discover who they are, what they can do, where they need to be. It was a hard lesson for me because with my daughter, who has disabilities, who has special needs, pick the word that you want, it's all language. We drew a really tight perimeter, like about the size of a high chair was all we were expecting her world to be. And she has had to push and battle and knock down the barriers with us as parents to say that circle is too small. That fence that you put me inside of is too little. I can do this and I can do this and I want to do this and I want to do that. And she has fought and kicked and bulldozed her way past those perimeters. And so I seek other parents. I seek other people that can say, yeah, you might want to open that fence up. You might want to open that. My son, sometimes we have to close it down because, we thought, well, if her fence has to be little, his fence can be big. And we've learned differently. I say all this, again, because I used to beat myself up all the time. I mean, like I said, I thought I was going to have to be the perfect parent because when we signed those papers and we went into court and we became parents, I had at that point probably had 400 to 500 kids in my caseload as a case manager, as a social worker, as a defects, as a guardian ad litem, as group home and foster, like I should have had my parenting skills at a PhD level, and it doesn't work. When I look at it and I sort of laugh about the biblical reference, I'm like, well, God was perfect. And I see how his kids behaved. They broke all the rules. I mean, they broke some pretty big ones and they had everything. So I sort of use that not to diminish God, but to give myself a little bit of grace, a little bit of humor. When I go through the Bible and I think of all of the parents that were there, and maybe that's a story that somebody else can teach better or write better, it's like, look at all the parents and look at their kids. Some of the people that we biblically reference as leaders, as influencers, or as changers really went through the season where at the moment, nobody would have expected anything great of them. And their poor parents must be like, really? I'm supposed to be raising the next savior of the world. And I'm trying to keep them from running away from me when we're in the town square. I mean, so keep it all in cheek, keep it in laughter, have fun with parenting, be available, be loving, be kind. But at night, when you go to put your head down on the pillow and you think you screwed it up, just laugh. Know that you're in the good company of so many other parents. Know that you're not alone. Know that parenting is not about perfection. Parenting is about the intent to help raise somebody that can be a contributor to the world around them. It's about setting boundaries, but also opening gates for them to explore. All right? So that's my bit of parenting advice. Every so often, I feel like I need to check in with the parents in the room, especially this time of year with the holidays and all the stress and the chaos, and you're taking your kids places and people are looking at them and looking at you, and the in-laws are like, I can't believe that's the way her kids act. It's like, let it go. Just look at them and laugh. Like, if you only knew the joy that we had when you weren't criticizing me, you would get it. All right. Yeah, you got to be one of those people that just lets it go. Sometimes just letting it go is the solution. Well, thank you for joining me. Hey, good morning, Nellie. Good to see you in the room. Thank you, Elizabeth, for taking notes. Remember, everybody, Success Life U, the letter U.com. The mastermind starts the first Tuesday of January, which I think is like the 7th or something. I have to look, but I know I'm prepared. I just don't remember the date. The workshop is January 18th. There are only 20 spots. I expect to be probably half full, if not, well, probably half full by Friday. So if you're on the fence and you're thinking about it and you're like, I don't know what to do, I'm going to say go ahead and reserve your spot. Go ahead and make the commitment, because I'm serious about sealing the limit at 20, because it is a workshop, because we want to interact, because we want to connect. I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to be in the room and everybody gets what they need from being in the room. All right. And don't forget, the newsletter goes out today and the podcast goes out Thursday. In the meantime, if you need me for anything, guess where you can find me? Come on. Guess. Yes. SuccessLifeU.com. There is a connect and comment page. And so don't forget to use that as well. I'm going to start dumping some resources. Dumping. That sounds so wrong. I'm going to start putting resources up there on the Success Life U page as well for you. So you can always go over there and pick up a little bit of a worksheet or a lesson, or I don't know. We're going to make it an interactive resource center for you as well, because I want it to be your place where you can go and not only take a class, get involved in a mastermind, but also pick up some tips and tools, much like what I use in the weekly newsletter. So until then, you guys go out and live your life with success. Not perfection, success. And success is really being engaged in each and every moment, living fully and intentionally into the actions that you're taking. All right. So until we get together tomorrow for Q&A Wednesday, be well, my friends. Bye-bye.